Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us on the tour of SPSS. Just really quickly, in this session, we're going to be looking at some of the different windows that occur in SPSS. We'll be looking at the data view. We're going to be talking about the difference between data view and variable view. We'll be looking at both of those windows. We're going to take a look at what an output viewer looks like and why syntax editor it's so handy for when you need to do any statistical work. So it's a quick and short video. I hope you enjoy it. The first thing we're going to look at is the data editor window overview. This is a very important window because this is where all of your data will be stored. Looking at this spreadsheet, it looks essentially like an Excel spreadsheet, and you can see on the top, you'll be able to see what the label of each of these categories are, and you'll see all of the data entries as well. So there are two different tabs under this window. You have the data view, which is what we are looking at right now, and you have the variable view, which is what's on the screen. So the variable view basically just tell you what each variable means, and the data view will give you all of the raw data. The other good thing about this window is that you can actually edit the data in real time. So if you click on each of these data, you're able to edit it. However, I would strongly recommend for you not to edit the data directly in here because you don't want to kind of mess with any of the raw data that you may have. Make sure that you save a copy of your raw data somewhere before making any edits. So here is just a quick overview of what the data view editor look like. And then in the next slide, we're going to look at how to make sense of some of the raw data. So as mentioned from earlier slide, here is the data view and what your raw data looks like. Looking at the spreadsheet, as you can see, there are a lot of data entries on here, and you're able to, as I mentioned earlier, you're able to edit your data directly in the spreadsheet. So for example, we can change that 7 to an 8. We're going to change it back so we're not messing with our data, but as you can see, you can directly edit your data from this spreadsheet. If you want to select just a row or a column and just to look at what those values look like, you can easily do that as well. And however, as mentioned earlier, we want to make sure that we're editing, if we do make edits of our data in here, that we have saved our raw data so we can make sure to preserve the integrity of our data. So previously we had looked at the data view screen, which basically shows us the raw data of what we're seeing in SPSS. In this case, we're going to take a look at the variable view, which basically helps us better understand the story that our data is able to tell us. The first thing we're going to look at is the name and the label under the variable view. So the name is really just the shortened version of what each of the categories are, and the label gives you an opportunity to actually explain what the name corresponds to. So if you forget in a few months, you forget what each of these categories are for these questions, you can look at your label. The next one we're going to look at is the type. You have two different types. You have numeric on here and you have string. Numeric, as the name suggests, is a numerical value. String, on the other hand, tells us that it's a text as opposed to a numerical value. And so, and the next thing we're going to look at are values. This is a way for you to keep track of what each of these code means. So 1 means not at all important, 2 may mean somewhat important. So it basically just tells you what each of those code means in your survey, essentially. So, this is really helpful so you can have a better understanding of what the story your raw data, your data set is trying to tell you. So after understanding what the data view is and what the variable view is in our spreadsheet, we're going to take a look at the output viewer window. So the good thing about the output viewer window is that it launches automatically. As soon as you open up the SPSS software, it'll show up. And in this case, I had asked for it to give me some descriptive statistics. And so we're looking at, five of those different values under the descriptive statistics. On the left-hand side of this window, you can see that it tells you, basically it's a table of content, right? If there's anything you want to look at, you can click on that. On the right-hand side, it gives you the actual statistics that you had asked for. So this is a really helpful way for you to really be able to see what your output looks like. And with the dual frame interface, you're able to click on whichever value that it is that you're looking for, and you'll be able to find that on the right-hand side. Here, we're going to take a quick look at how we can navigate and manage the output window. So again, we're going to just really quickly run a quick analysis for the descriptive statistics. As I mentioned earlier, you can put in as many or as few values as you want. In this case, I picked 5 different variables I wanted to use. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to have it show up so you can see, again, the descriptive statistics of the 5 different variables. When you look on the left-hand side, like I said, you can just click on anything so that it will take you to that section. And on the right-hand side, you'll be able to see the actual values. You can also manage your selection. You can do cut, you can copy, you can paste, whatever you want to do on the left-hand side, you can navigate it directly under that section. And in the next slide, I'm going to show you how to save your output as an SPSS file so you could share it with your collaborators, or you can view later, and so you don't lose what you already had in your in your file. So here we're going to take a quick look at how to export and share your output. Again, we have the same window as before. What we want to do is we want to click on File. We want it to either save as or export. In this case, I'm going to try to export it as a Word document so I can share it with somebody else. You can change the type of file you want to save it as. We're just going to do the Word document in this case, and you click on OK. And I had already saved it from before, so we just want to replace that file, and we wanted to click on that Word document. As you can see, it shows up as a Word document. And then I can send this Word document to anyone that I'm collaborating with, or just save it for myself so I can use it later if I need to. The next window we'll be looking at is called the syntax editor window. This is a handy tool for you to be able to really take a look at the trail of what codes you've been running. You're able to edit it, you're able to duplicate it, you're able to save it. There's really a lot of useful tools within this window. So what we're going to do here is we're going to first click on analysis. So we can run that frequency analysis again. Once we're there, we're able to put in any sort of variables you'd like. And in this case, we're just going to put in the age, gender, and education level variable. We're going to paste it into the syntax window. This is what that syntax window looks like. And then we're going to run it. We're going to be able to see what those variables look like as far as frequency is concerned. We can duplicate it. So we're just going to copy and paste it, and we're able to duplicate it and kind of make any changes as we see fit. In this case, I'm going to add religious as another variable. And once we do that, we're able to kind of just run that again. And as you can see, once I run it again, that religious kind of shows up at the end of this syntax, at the end of this page right here. We really do, I think this is a really important tool for everyone to be able to learn, because again, you're able to kind of edit it how you see fit. You're able to save it and share it. So in this case, we're going to save it on our desktop. I'm just going to kind of rename it really quickly, and we can just save it for in case you want to copy and paste these codes back into the syntax window and run it again. And this, it kind of gives us a history of what we have been doing, especially if we kind of forget what we needed to do before. In this way, we're able to get that history. So thank you so much for taking the time to take a look at some of these windows in SPSS with us. I hope that this video is useful, and we'll be going over some other windows and other tools in the future as well.